see anything? Now, that's better. Without light, we would all be in darkness. Where does all this light come from? We get light from sources like incandescent lamps, fluorescent lamps, LED or light-emitting diodes, and sometimes even candles. All objects that emit light are called luminous objects. Now, what is our main source of light? Our main source of light is the sun, of course. Sunlight helps us see during the day. Light is a form of energy. When it bounces off objects and travels to our eyes, we are able to see the object. That's how we see everything around us. Which of these pictures shows how light travels? This is the correct picture. Light always travels in straight lines. What happens when an object obstructs the path of light? Depending on what kind of matter the object is made of, light passes through, gets absorbed, or bounces off the surface. Objects that allow light rays to pass through them or transmit light are called transparent objects. Clear glass is an example of a transparent material. Some objects that transmit only part of the light rays through them are called translucent objects. We can see partially but not clearly through translucent objects. What are some examples of translucent objects? Frosted glass and sheer curtains are examples of translucent objects. Objects that do not transmit any light are called opaque. What are some examples of opaque objects? Books, wood, bricks, and metal are examples of opaque objects. You just learned that light is a form of energy. Light travels in a straight line until it strikes an object. Depending on what kind of matter the object is made of, light passes through, gets absorbed, or bounces off the surface. That's all about this amazing form of energy that makes all things bright. Watch this mirror ball rotate in streams of multicolored light. What causes this dazzling effect of lights? Mirror balls work by reflecting light. What is reflection? When light strikes the surface of an object, some or most of it bounces back. This bouncing back of light is called reflection. Reflection off smooth, shiny surfaces like mirrors is called regular reflection. Regular reflection allows us to see images in the reflecting surfaces. Reflection off rough and bumpy surfaces is called irregular or diffuse reflection. Reflection off rough and bumpy surfaces is called irregular or diffuse reflection. Diffuse reflection helps us to see the things around us. When light reflects off the surface of an object, some of the reflected light enters our eyes and we see the object. Observe what happens when light hits an object, such as this glass cube. A portion of the light bounces back. Light traveling through the air bends when it enters the object. The light ray bends again when it comes out of the object back into the air. The bending of light when it travels from one medium to another is called refraction. Look at the fish net in the fish tank. Why do you think it appears bent? It's not the rod that bends, but the light traveling from the water into the air and into our eyes that bends. Light travels faster in air than in water. That's why light changes direction at the surface and the rod appears bent. You just learned that the bouncing back of light is called reflection. The bending of light when it travels from one medium to another is called refraction. That's all for now about the bouncing and bending of light. Have you ever looked at the moon through a telescope? The magnifying ability of a good telescope can make the moon look like it's just an arm's length away. How does a telescope magnify the images of distant objects? Telescopes magnify distant objects by using a combination of lenses. What are lenses? Lenses are objects with curved surfaces. They are made of glass or other transparent materials. A lens that curves outward is called a convex lens, and a lens that curves inward is called a concave lens. Light bends or refracts when it travels through a lens. The more curved the surface of the lens, the greater its ability to bend light. Convex lenses are thicker in the middle than at the ends. Parallel rays of light refract and come together, or converge, at one point. Looking through this lens makes an object look larger than it really is. A convex lens is therefore used as a magnifying glass. Concave lenses are thicker at the ends than in the middle. Light rays refract and move apart, or diverge, through this lens. Objects that are far away appear closer when seen through a concave lens. What are some uses of concave lenses? Concave lenses are used commonly in eyeglasses for people who are nearsighted and can't see distant objects clearly. Now let's see how lenses are used in telescopes. The simplest telescope has at least two lenses. the objective lens, and the eyepiece. The objective lens bends the light from distant objects, such as the moon, and brings them together into a bright point. The eyepiece then magnifies the bright point and brings the image to your eye, making the moon appear closer and larger. Lenses are also an important part of our eyes and help us see. When light from an object enters our eyes, it's refracted by the cornea. The refracted light enters the convex lens inside the eye through the pupil. The lens further bends the light and forms a sharp image on the retina. Optic nerves take the upside-down image received by the retina to the brain, which inverts the image to create our view of the world. Cameras also work a lot like our eyes. Light beams enter the camera and refract, forming an image on a surface that can record the information. You just learned that lenses are objects with curved surfaces. They are made of glass or other transparent materials. A lens that curves outward is called a convex lens, and a lens that curves inward is called a concave lens. Some of the most amazing machines use lenses. Discuss some of these machines and how they work in giving us a better picture of the world.